How do you determine the list price of your home when you're putting it up for sale? Well, this number is actually extremely easy to come up with. What you do is you take the real estate commissions, all of your lawyer's fees, any transfer taxes and mortgage penalties, plus the cost of a new car and paying off all your debt, put that on top of what it is you want, and then every single time, without fail, that is market value. And accepting just 1 penny less would be giving your house away. No, obviously not. But unfortunately, that is how many sellers actually go ahead and price their home. And in fact, what you owe or the number you want has absolutely nothing to do with market value. It doesn't have any effect on what the buyer is willing to pay, and nor should it. In this video, I'm going to show you how people determine the asking prices of their properties, if those methods even make sense, and also how a professional real estate agent determines value. And no, real estate agents like myself don't just say $50,000 less than whatever number it is that you want. But unfortunately, more often than not, that does turn out to be market value. But first, as always, I would love you to click and subscribe to join our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. You can go down in the description right now and download our Informed Buyer's Guide. And please make sure you hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. That is the best way you can do your part to get this information out to more people so they know how to better price their homes when they hit the market. Because you might buy their home and you're going to want to make sure that you're seeing properly priced houses. So by hitting the like button, you're actually going to get a better house. And of course, if you would like personal real estate information, you can go right down in the description right now and book a call with me at a time that works best for you with just a few simple clicks down below.
And now on to the video.
Okay, so I joked a few seconds ago that sellers think,
oh, that real estate agent I met with, all he wanted to do was get a quick sale out of me, and he told me a ridiculously low price.
And on the other side of the equation, the agents are walking around the office going,
I can't believe they want more than the last sale. That house sold for $1 zillion. It was bigger and it had more bedrooms and bathrooms and it had a bigger lot and it even had a swimming pool.
well, let's look at some ways to help determine what your property will actually sell for. First off, let me be perfectly frank and say the buyers that are out there right now are extremely informed in today's market. They could not possibly care any less about how much you want for your property or how much you need. They don't care how much debt you have to clear off in order to qualify for your next loan of your dream house. They only care about the market value. Market value is usually the uncomfortable spot that a seller doesn't really want to accept and a buyer doesn't really want to pay. The hardest part for any seller in the marketplace to really think about and have sink in is the fact that their house is not the only one on the market, and the buyers are seeing all of the different properties. The buyers will for sure come to your property if they think they have the ability to purchase it, and some may even offer on it. However, if they deem a different property to be better value, they're going to go offer on that one instead, and they won't offer on your house. And often what sellers do is emotionally explain this away by saying,
They couldn't afford my property, so they bought the junker down the street because it was cheaper.
well, maybe or maybe not. The reality of the scenario is likely what happened is the buyer found value in the amount that they were offering for the house that they were offering on. And even if the house down the road is an absolute junker and not nearly as nice as yours, if the buyer sees more value at the lower price, they'll simply buy that house instead of yours. No buyer is out there trying to make the worst possible decision for them. They're going to buy the properties that they think are the right fit for the right amount of money. Now let's talk about tax assessments. Many homeowners have this formula in their head that their property is worth either 10% or 20% more than the taxed assessed value, or whatever percentage makes them feel comfortable and good about selling their house for the amount that they need. Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat this one either. The value that you find on your tax assessment in the mailbox in January or on the eValue website means absolutely nothing. I'm always amazed that a homeowner won't believe that a government has their best interests at heart when policing, making new laws, or even creating new mandates around the pandemic. But the one thing that the government's very good at is finding the exact value of every single property in the entire province without ever having actually stepped foot in one of them. The values on your tax assessment are for
Taxation purposes only.
That's right, and have absolutely nothing to do with market value. They only help establish the piece of the taxation pie that you have to pay and do nothing else. No, it's not how much you want or need to move on to the next house plus the amount of your debts. It's not $50,000 more than whatever the real estate agent said. And it's for sure not a magical equation tied to the amount of money that the government wants to tax you. No, the true way to find the value of your home in order to put it on the market for sale is to ask your Uncle Bob, who once sold a house in 1982. I'm kidding. Market value can be determined or guesstimated anyway by what we call in the industry a CMA, or comparative market analysis. A CMA at its core is actually pretty simple. The first step is we find other properties that have recently been on the market that compare to your property. This could be in home size, lot size, area, age, construction style, or even how many like buttons it has. There are many factors that can make a property comparable. What many homeowners doing, because they don't have specific knowledge about the real estate industry and the types of home for sale, is they have trouble identifying what is and is not a comparable property. Let me use an example. If your home is what we call a basement entry home, and right next door your neighbor lives in a two-story, what they sold for may not be relevant to what you sold for. Even though you're right next door, it's not the same type of home. Any agent preparing a CMA on your property should ideally be able to find 3 listings in each of the following categories. First is active listings. These are listings that are currently on the market, and if your property were to be on the market today, this would be your competition that the buyers would also be seeing on their tour. Next are what we call expired listings. These are listings that have failed to sell. If a listing has failed to sell, it is deemed to have been asking too much money, because if it wasn't asking too much money, the buyers out there would have actually offered and likely purchased the property. Third are the sold listings. You should at least be looking for 3 recent sales, depending on how hot your market is, between the last 30 and 90 days. These are the listings that best help us determine market value, because this is where a buyer and a seller came together in order to put together a contract of purchase and sale by agreeing to the price, otherwise known as market value. So let me recap on these really quick. Actives are your competition, but they're not necessarily market value because the property is not yet sold. Being priced like the other active listings might keep you on the market and may not actually help you achieve a sale. The expired listings asked too much. If you ask as much as the expired listings asked, you will likely also expire. And looking at the sold listings or the sales, that's actually where you should price your home, because you ideally want to be sold and not just for sale. Next, you will have to make adjustments in price for comparable properties and the differences that they may have. So you may have a very comparable property, but if somebody has, for instance, done a renovation or has an extra bedroom or bathroom or 1,000 square feet more, you can adjust for these things with simple equations such as price per square foot or the cost of the renovation. Next, you'll have to make some estimates for the intangibles, things like a view or a cul-de-sac or a pool. These are subjective to the buyer's needs, so they could be a positive or a negative, and you have to do your best guess in order to determine if those are adding value or subtracting. Now, let me do a side note here. It's not just okay to say because I have this feature, it is a positive. Let me give you an example. Here in Surrey, you may have many homes built at the end of what they call a T-style intersection. However, if your buyer coming into the marketplace believes in feng shui, being at the end of a T-style intersection is actually very bad luck. So it's not a tangible thing. You can't tell how much that home is going to sell for, more or less, because of a renovation or an added bedroom or extra square footage. However, if your buyer believes in feng shui, they will only pay less or not buy the home at all. And last, you have to look at what the market is doing. If the market is increasing and the last home sold for $1 million, you can likely ask more than $1 million by what the market has increased. However, if the market is decreasing and you ask for $1 million because the last property sold for $1 million, you are likely just going to stay on the market because you have to now adjust for your future price in order to catch the market coming down. If you don't do that, you're likely going to see many reductions before you actually get to the spot where you achieve a sale. And if you follow all of these steps in the CMA objectively, you will achieve a relatively headache-free, quick and easy sale. But remember this one thing: no matter how much you think you're being objective and you're removing yourself from the situation in order to determine value, this is your home. You're going to be emotionally invested in it, and there's just no getting around that. This is why people like me even have jobs in this industry. We're not just there to write up the contract and to put the sign in the ground. Our job is to help you determine what the reality of the selling price is before putting your property on the market, and giving you that best possible advice without the emotional bias invested that you can't possibly remove yourself. Because often it's not our smarts that really hold us back. It's the fact that we love our homes so much, and we've got all this emotion. Where the kid's going to go to school? All these different questions rolling around in our head, and we can't detach the emotion from the rational decision making. If you're trying to make that decision within the city of Surrey, or the Fraser Valley for that matter, please reach out. We would absolutely love to give you some personalized advice. You can book a call with me right down below in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Please comment down below if you think I'm totally off base, or if you agree. Check out another couple of videos while you're here on the channel. Please hit the like button, and we'll see you in a couple of days.